let's discuss some very profound perspectives, shall we? Getting mad that birds exist instead of accepting the bird's existence. Let me say that one more time. Getting mad that birds exist instead of accepting the bird's existence. Now, what does this mean? When you understand that you can only control your response, you understand that everything that was here before you got here. So it's not that you need to try to control what's here, you need to understand what's here. You cannot control what's okay, you cannot control what was already here before you got here. Understand, frequencies and thought patterns and ways of existing was already here before you existed. So you do not try to control or try to force change. You understand it by understanding your response. How can I respond better to existence in order to free myself? For example, right? If you was to make content, when you make content, you cannot control what people say or how people perceive you. That was simply already here before you was existed. People having their opinion was already here before you existed. All you can do is control your response to people's opinions. Let that one sit with you for a second. Making promises in relationships without fully understanding your emotions. Now, this one is very vital because we often commit ourselves to relationships without fully understanding who or what we are. You may be in a relationship not fully understanding who you are, making promises and committing to people without fully understanding yourself. And this can cause a lot of emotional distress because you first you don't understand that you cannot control people's way of perceiving you, but at the same time you don't even understand what you truly want in life yet. So you're chasing all these relationships not understanding who you are yet. This is why making promises in relationships without fully understanding your emotions can cause so much delay in your internal growth. False love, false marriage, tying together unhealed wounds, passing your insecurities down generations. This is why you don't want to rush to be in a relationship because all your unhealed wounds, which you have not dealt with yet, instead of dealing with it, you find a partner, right? Because you don't want to deal with yourself. So you may go try to find a partner or find someone to be in love with because you haven't fully you don't want to face yourself. So it's easier to just try to love on someone else or get someone to love you because you don't want to sit and face yourself. And see, that's kind of selfish because what about your children? Is that what you want your children to know? Do you want to teach your children to, instead of finding who they are and living their life in search and growth of their truth, right? Their internal truth. Do you want them to rather go around and just be in countless relationships, not serving growth? These are questions that must be asked. Evolving, releasing old belief patterns and structures that don't serve internal growth. So many of you may be going through this. Some of you maybe are coming into a certain awareness of your belief patterns or your thought patterns that do not serve growth, right? So evolving, releasing old belief patterns and structures that don't serve your internal growth, right? And we all know internal growth is just your self-love. Certain belief patterns served the environment supported the beliefs. So what you believe, okay, so your beliefs are strongly shaped by your environment, right? And then then okay, your your beliefs, right, Serve your environment, and your environment serves your beliefs, which means your beliefs is only true because your environment is formed off of your beliefs. So what if you was to go into a different environment? What if you was to change your environment? How would your beliefs change? How would your thought patterns change if you was to leave an environment that was already predestined with these beliefs, was already predetermined with these beliefs? Some of you will get that, some of you will not. Ancient wisdom, in due time, enlightenment, only experience can give you truth. Now, this is so profound because everyone is walking around with lack of experience, which means they have little bit of they have only a little bit or limited knowledge or limited truth, right? And truth is just what's true to you, right? So what I know is true to me due to my experience. But see, I'm constantly in the state of evolving and constantly in a state of growth, which means I'm gonna always be moving around. I never want to stay in the same environment too long because then my growth is limited. If I stay in a certain environment for too long, then I will adapt to it, and then that's not growth. Spiritual practice builds inner strength, not make you a slave to your desires, right? So, spiritual practice, right, which is just simply taking time to understand who you are, taking time to spend time with yourself, right? Spending time with yourself is a spiritual practice because spiritual just means yourself. Like spiritual just means your internal world, right? So spending time with yourself and understanding who you are will help you, in a sense, build a defense, right? Or build a certain strength to where you're no longer a slave to your desires, right? Because most of the times your desires can actually keep you trapped in a timeline that you're truly not happy in. Let that one sit for you. Let that one sit with inside you for a second. Feeling like you need people, needing someone to fall back on, you don't truly trust in yourself, right? So the reason why most individuals feel like they need people is because they don't truly trust their own abilities. You don't truly trust your ability to accomplish something. So you kind of lean on people. So just in case you don't make it, or just in case you have someone to fall on, or you have someone to hold you when you fail, right? And failure is just an illusion. You only fail when you decide not to keep going. That's a very profound perspective for someone that's finding themselves depending on people because they're not trusting in themselves fully. Quantum leaping with knowing how to maintain what's going on to you, right? Or going on around you, right? So quantum leaping is a very complex it's a it's complex, but then it's not. I feel like it's only complex to you if you don't understand what quantum leaping is. Quantum leaping is just simply once you change your internal world, your external world will start to change, which means you will start to quantum leap because time, in the sense, is catching up to what you're becoming, right? So you will find yourself moving around a lot. You'll find yourself moving a lot because your internal world can't be held down no more by reality. You always see adventure. You always see something new, right? So some of you may want to look into quantum leaping. This may be a sign.